126 to 113. The Sacramento Kings drop another one in Milwaukee. The Bucks are good, y'all. Let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not act like we really thought the Kings were going to come inside of this insane organization that has been top class for the last 5 years and win the game. Like, that wasn't going to happen today. I didn't see it. The Kings are 6.5 point underdogs. That's a little bit of respect for sure for how they've been playing, but I just didn't see how they would win this game. There's too many mismatches. They still haven't solved the rebounding issues. Metu I like, but I just feel like, again, I sound like a broken record, but you gotta play a guy that's a little bit more defensive minded, historically speaking. Richaun Holmes was a top 10 shot blocker, and you need that type of a presence, whether he's playing bad or not right now. And you got to give him the confidence to get his legs under him and get back to where he was at one point in his career. They need to play him, period. KZ got to play more minutes, especially with a team that's so big. They started off the game so hot. I mean, they were shooting lights out. But we understood that wasn't sustainable for an entire game. The Bucks were giving them those shots, right? They protect the paint at all costs. We saw that firsthand today, what their game plan was. Tough game, man. Also, this episode of the CK Podcast / post-game show is presented by Medici Sacramento right now at the Golden One Center. Adam Sandler is having a comedy show. It's sold out, and if you guys want to go after to the restaurant, you guys should definitely check them out. Awesome pizza, awesome vibes, great drinks, lots of cool stuff there to do after the Adam Sandler comedy skit. I didn't even know he was doing like tours like that. If I'm being completely honest, it caught me by surprise, and I found out a week ago. I was like, wait, Adam Sandler is doing comedy skits, comedy shows? I was like, what? Good for him. I guess he has a Netflix comedy show that I haven't watched. I don't know if that's true or not. I think somebody told me that, but I'm gonna have to check it out and see how funny he is on that type of a stage, because he's amazing on movies. But I don't know if he is that funny, like in that type of a scene, like in that, like Lance Woods, you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit different than acting, but let me know in the comments below if you guys have ever watched his show, if he has one, and if you ever watched him perform live. The Sacramento Kings again lose tonight, 126 to 113. Giannis is just something different, yo. 33 minutes, 35 points, 9 of 10 from the free throw line, 12 of 19. Yes, he runs people over, but he has a dexterity and the skills to kind of avoid that first initial contact, so he won't get called for a charge right in the eyes of a referee, and then he gets pounded or slapped down across the arm, or someone's out of position. He has learned that throughout the years, and now it's really paying off. So I don't know how many consecutive games it was today that he scored 30 plus, and he's just a monster, man. And he got some fouls called on him defensively tonight that I didn't think he'd typically get. So Sabonis was getting a little bit more respect today. Sabonis finished with 23 points on 9 of 11. That's incredibly efficient. That'll get the job done on most nights. Tonight was just not one of those nights. The Bucks improved to 18-6. The Kings moved to 13-10. That's what the Bucks do, man. They protect the paint. And early in the game, we saw Brook Lopez kind of establish his three-point shot. He missed some shots, but he missed good shots. And then he only hit 2 of them, but then he kind of missed towards the end of the game as well. He had some huge offensive rebounds, and this is where the game was lost, right? If you look at the rebounding department, the Kings had 40 rebounds, right, as a team, and the Bucks had 50. So you were out-rebounded by 50, by 10 50 rebounds. I failed math class once in college. Yeah, so 50-40, that's not gonna get the job done. A lot like that Suns game where guards are allergic to boxing out. Yeah, we saw De'Aaron Fox box out Brook Lopez, but he already had position, so it was way too late. There was a miscommunication there as well between, I believe it was Sabonis and Fox, and they got the offensive rebound, and they just couldn't get those stops down the stretch. The game was relatively close to some extent, but man, it's just there's just a mismatch for the Kings, like on all levels, right? Drew Holiday is just an animal. I mean, 31 points, 23 shots, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 5 boards, plus 18 for the game. Incredible defense, incredible communication for that team. He does so many things for that team. 6 assists. Like, I know Draper said he's underrated. That's not true. I think we're past that stage. Like Katie said, you're not watching if you think he's underrated. The better word here is underappreciated. He's underappreciated league-wide because he's not a guy like a Kyrie where he's going to just wow you with a sick crossover and, incredible finishes. Like, he's not like a box office type player, but he's better than Kyrie Irving. Like, I would take Drew Holiday over Kyrie any day of the week, 1,000%, no questions asked. And a lot of the Kyrie stans would say I'm effing crazy, but that's just the reality of the situation. Like, Drew Holiday is a better basketball player, period. But he's not going to get that Nike contract, although past tense, because Kyrie just lost that contract, and then he had his, what did he say? Like, he wrote with the marker on his shoe saying he was glad that he's free or something like that. Like, come on, bro. Like, you weren't saying that not too long ago. I get it. I won't get into that, but yes, Drew Holiday is just an animal of a player, and that dude is just something special, man. Like, Drew Holiday is something special. How is everybody doing today? Well, yo, David, what's up, bro? Yes, and De'Aaron Fox passed up Mitch Richmond, and now is number 2 on the list for assists, right? Number 1 is still Mike Bibby. De'Aaron passed up Mitch Richmond today. Then it's Mitch at 3, Spud Webb, Reggie Theus, Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, Brad Miller at 8. So a nice list there to be a part of. Will he ever pass Mike Bibby? He eventually will. I don't know what the numbers are in terms of how many. I don't have them in front of me, but you would think he would. De'Aaron Fox, as I've already shown, the analytics on B-Ball Breakdown, they provide a lot of context of what type of playmaker he is, and he's a very, very, very good playmaker. Like, he is amongst the best in terms of ranking in the percentiles. I think he's an A- grade on B-Ball Index. The guy puts so much pressure on your defense. I know a lot of people are going to want to talk about his game today and as of late, but nobody questions it when they win, right? Nobody was questioning anything on the 3-game winning streak. Now that they lose is when you start to, think about these. Oh, what's wrong with him? Like, nobody said what's wrong with him on the 3-game winning streak. There's nothing wrong with him in terms of, is he digressing? Like, I kind of already shut down that narrative. I hope I did a few games ago where I said either Mike Brown comes out and says he's injured and I'm playing him sporadically, because there's moments where he scores 5 straight like tonight and you just pull him out and you're just like, what the? Again, basketball is rhythm and timing. Like, you got to just leave him out there and just let him play out. Those are the moments where you got to just allow him to go through it, man. I'm not a big fan of his rotations with De'Aaron Fox specifically, but that's what it is. Like, that's what we're going to see for the rest of the season, barring injuries. Like, he takes him out roughly at the 6-minute mark, and he puts him back in sometime, maybe with a minute left or second quarter, and then he takes him out again. And I'm just like, bro, like, just play him the whole first quarter, please. Just play him the whole first quarter. I'm tired of that, man. Um, Giannis gets to run over players now. He should have had a fifth foul. I agree to some extent. Um, yeah, Fox was off tonight. I'd like to see him use KZ in the second half, and Red Velvet was not so good on defense. He's not good on defense, period. I would like to see some time for Keon Ellis tonight for the defense as well. Nah. I just watched Keon Ellis play in the G League, bro. He's not ready. He's not ready. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't want to disrespect him, man, but he's not ready, brother. Trust me when I tell you that he is not ready to play at this level. I don't know what's going on with Fox and coach not giving him the minutes. I sometimes get irritated in close game situations when he gets in a groove and they get subbed out. Exactly. It's super tough to just see that, and I'm like, what's going on here? I don't know. I really don't understand it, if I'm being honest with you. Or if the game is in the reach, he doesn't bring him in neither. Yeah, what went wrong tonight? Rebounds, man. That's all I'm saying. You said it spot on. If he's grooved, just let him play. It's one of those things, bro. Like, just let the man play, and when you only play 32 minutes, but the minutes are all over the place, like, they're not consistent like that. You know what I mean? Like you said, like, he gets into a groove and you pull him out, and then he has to refine that groove. I'm not a big fan of. He was 5 of 16 tonight, 1 of 6. It looked like he had dead legs, though. On those shots, it came up super short. I didn't understand it, but it more so fatigue. Like, is he injured? Is he not? I don't know. He was 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 15 points, 2 assists. And then Red Velvet was 3 of 6 from beyond the arc, 50% there, 5 of 9 from the field, 13 points, was a minus 19. Who was it? Yes, it was Kings fan since 85. He said that he wasn't playing defense, and that's a major reason why he has a minus 19 for the plus-minus department. Again, not very accurate in terms of depicting a player, but that seems like it's like it matched the eye test tonight, where I said, okay, Red Velvet got to, play a little bit less and play a little bit more Malik Monk, who had 29 minutes, right? 7 of 19 tonight, 16 points, 1 of 7 from beyond the arc. He struggled in that department as well. The team shot 31.6% from beyond the arc. That's not what the Kings do. The Kings got to shoot a higher percentage, 12 of 38 total. That's not going to get it done. Again, that's what the Bucks do. They give you a ton of threes. They protect the paint. And if you're not going to hit against them, like, you're going to lose a game. It's just that simple. It truly is that simple. Like, you're going to lose the game. They shot 14 of 33, okay, for 42%. And they shot 20 of 24 from the free throw line. Kings did a good job, 15 of 16. But that's a massive difference. You're looking at 8 more free throws for the Bucks. That's your game. I mean, that's your game. Shout out to Rashawn for that poster. That was gross. That was nice. Again, man, I said this a little bit earlier. They got to play that, man. Like, I understand he had a rough, 4 games? Let me look how many games he played. Well, it's not fair because he plays like less than a minute every game. But in the beginning of the year, it was the first rough 4 or 5 games that they let him play, and he was playing like maybe 12, 13 minutes a night. He just wasn't playing well. He looked lost. I completely understand that. But you got to give him a long leash, and you got to be able to play him, because right now, the way it stands, he doesn't have any value, right? Once perceived, again, narratives, perception-wise, once perceived to be a great contract at $12 million per year, now is deemed as a bad one because he doesn't play. So now it's dead money. So Monty in the front office, they got to do something to convince Mike to, and again, I'm not a proponent for that because I've never been that type of dude that says front office got to interject either for good or bad reasons and let the coaching staffs, or dictate what the coaching staffs do. I'm more in the field of you got to let your coaches coach. But in this situation, understanding what this means for this organization moving forward, like, you got to be able to find some value in return if you're not going to play him. Like, he's making $12 million a year. Like, that's not, Metu money, who's making a lot less than that, right? That's not Lyle's money. Like, this guy is supposed to be a big part of your team, period. So when you don't play KZ, I'm like, okay, well, you got Metu and you got Lyles. But when you don't play Rashawn, you're just like, damn. Like, something is fishy there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a tough situation. Like, it's a tough situation either way. And the Boston Celtics are up 54-30. This is the second consecutive blowout for the Suns. That's good for the Kings. On a bright note, the Celtics are blowing out the Suns in Phoenix. So and now we're all like, watching the standings like every night, like if it means anything right now. It truly doesn't, but it's still fun to be like, oh, well, they lost, right? Or like the Clippers lost to the Magic earlier. That was crazy. And I actually watched that game. I watched the last 5 minutes, and the lack of execution from both teams. But you kind of expect that from the Magic. But when you have a Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, who again are rusty and haven't played and they got no rhythm under them, and they made a lot of mistakes, and eventually they didn't play him for most of the overtime session, and they brought Kawhi back into the game, and actually Paul George missed the shot to win the game, and then went into overtime, and then Paulo just took over. So Paulo made like 4 straight free throws to close the game out, and that veteran team made a lot of mistakes down the stretch, which was weird, but good for the Kings because they lost to the Magic. So you didn't really lose a game. And I think the Jazz are winning right now, 110-102 against the Warriors. And we'll look at the standings right now. But I rather the Jazz beat the Warriors just because I feel like the Jazz will eventually break up that team and, sell off some of those good veteran players that they do have. And the Phoenix and the Golden State Warriors will either make a trade to get better or figure it out because they're supposed to be better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these are the defending NBA champions. And they're going to make some noise as whatever the hell is going on. Like, they fouled too much or their bench isn't as good. And I don't know. But they're going to do something to get back into the work. So that means that the Kings, fortunately, are going to have to watch for that team all year long. So these types of games, I rather the Jazz, even though the Jazz might have a better record, I think, or it's close to it, I rather them win today than the Warriors win this game. So I think Mike Brown's post-game show is already up. We can watch that in a little bit. So those are the scores so far from today. Let's look at what Mike Brown had to say. Let me see. Okay, here we go. I'm interested to see what he has to say. Let me see. Let's see. New scene. Okay. Here we go.
It was you got to give Milwaukee, Coach Bud, and the Bucks a lot of credit.
No doubt.
They played a very good game.
Yes, they did.
What's disappointing for me is this is one of the first times I felt we played a game and our opponent dictated from the beginning of the game how the night was going to go.
I said that.
I didn't think they felt us at all defensively. It was almost like our defense was almost like a glorified scrimmage game or pickup game.
Wow.
Milwaukee went where they wanted to go. They did what they wanted to do. Offensively, we didn't do a good job communicating. We blew a lot of assignments. I mean, it's a 2-point game. At one point, we blew 2 or 3 assignments in a row to where they stretch it to a 10-point game. But, having said that, if we would have won, we would have stole the game the way that we played. This one, like I said, it was tough to swallow just because they didn't fill us from the start nor throughout the course of the game. And I think we're better than that. But you got to give Milwaukee and Bud and his staff a lot of credit for coming out there and taking it to us.
Mike, this is 6 or 7 games now where Fox hasn't really looked quite like himself. What are you seeing there, and what is he dealing with anything physically right now?
I don't think he is. I know everybody at this point in the year is dealing with bumps and bruises and cuts and nicks and all that other stuff.
I mean, it's December.
But I don't know. You
what?
Not that I know of from our medical staff. You would have to ask Fox. He's been really good for us the last 3 games, setting the tone defensively, especially. He can score. I'm not worried about him scoring the basketball. I just want him to continue setting the tone from the beginning of the game on the defense end of the floor, because on the road against good teams, 113 points, and we missed a few shots here and there. That's enough to keep us in the game. But we all have to get stops, and a lot of times it starts with him. He's a headed snake.
Mike, offensive rebounding. Did you guys
Kings are allergic
do
to.
something correctly, or is it just when they get to a rotation?
They don't box out, bro. Too much ball
Then
watching.
we started running around because we were down, and they got a couple because we were running around. But throughout the course of the game, that's part of the my bads I'm talking about that we heard from guys individually. We just had too many of them from too many different guys. Guys just didn't box out.
That's simple.
Shots, we know if they hit the rim, it's going to be a long rebound. So I can't turn around and start walking to the rim to get a rebound. I have to check my man and go out towards my man to rebound the elbow areas, because if you think of it, there were a lot of rebounds there throughout the course of the game. At the end, Brooke, because we were rotating, Brooke got 2, I think, size-wise. But
tons of ball watching,
we just
bro.
have to
Tons.
do a better job with the little things when we play a great team like Milwaukee, especially on the road.
Facts.
Coach, I think this is about 8 straight 30-point games for Giannis, and it feels like
8 straight games.
Whatever you watch on the offensive end now. I'm curious, what do you see from him now compared to earlier in his career that allows him to do that?
I mean, he's a great player. I mean, he's arguably the best player in the league. Some people say that, but it's tough. I mean, he runs over Davion Mitchell, and
He did run
no
Zaz
call,
over.
No call, and if
What's up, Derek?
That's going to happen, we got no chance to guard him, and not many others have a chance to guard him because of his greatness, and now he's able to do that. There's nothing we can do except hope and pray.
And then you talked about the size and the physicality, I guess specifically the physicality before the game. It sounds like you think your guys didn't quite rise to meet that challenge.
No, we didn't rise to meet the challenge tonight. And like I said, this is probably the first time we didn't. They didn't feel us at all.
Right.
Not at all. From the beginning of the game throughout the court. They
Right.
did a couple of times in spurts, but a great team like that on their home floor, it's got to be a dogfight. And it was not a dogfight. It was a basketball game.
All that said, you're within one. You came back from multiple double-digit deficits, get within one in the fourth. Is there anything encouraging you take away from the fact that you're playing a great team like this, and at a certain point you still had a chance?
Well, what it does show is that we're capable, and that's about it. It shows that we're capable of doing it, but we can't wait until the fourth quarter to try to, in spurts, string some stops together and make them feel us. We have to do it from the beginning versus a good team like that. And now you're down the stretch. Maybe you have some momentum or some juice, or the shots that they get that may be open at times, because teams are going to get open shots throughout the course of the game. Maybe those don't go in because they had to work, a lot harder throughout the course of the game.
Regarding Terrence, he was held out again tonight. Is there what's the level of concern that might be an injury that keeps him out for a little while?
I don't think it's a high level of concern. I know he got checked out, and our medical people think that eventually he's gonna be okay. Obviously he's gonna continue maintenance with it, but I have not heard anything. I just heard tonight was the night he's out.
Right.
That's all there is to it, man. Too much ball watching. You can't do that against the Bucks. Again, it's unfortunate. It's because we keep talking about this, right? One of those things where we continue to talk about, and it's not being fixed. Lots of my bad. That's on me. It's like, bro, you've been saying that all year long. Like, we're not 10 games into the season anymore. We're 20-plus games into the season. You keep saying, my bad, my bad. Davion, the strong guy to take over Giannis to run over. Fox might have had the worst ball watch of the season on a drive and kick to the corner that ended up in a miss. You're worried about Fox when he starts ball watching. Those are the bad habits, bro. And I know you're a super smart guy. It's gonna take time, and I've been preaching this for a long time, since the beginning of the year. It's kind of like they're gonna show flashes of they're getting over the hump of doing things they've done wrong for so long, right? And again, it's not to say that this team has been together for X amount of years, but a lot of these guys still have bad habits. Like, if we look at Fox, the head of the snake, he's been the longest tenured king here. He has bad habits, and that's probably the biggest one. It's ball watching. It's gonna take some time. It truly is. It's gonna take some time. And right now, to some people, they say he's banged up, but that's just part of the growth of having so many new guys, having a new system, etc. And it sounds like excuses, but it's true. Bad habits are hard to break, and you're going to see them on nights like this when you're overmatched by a better basketball team. We all know that. When you look at guys like Sabonis, Harrison Barnes has built bad habits throughout the years from so much losing. He's extremely inconsistent. Tonight he wasn't. But how many times have we said HB has 0 points tonight, or he had 4 points tonight, or he had 5 points tonight, or he didn't shoot enough? You didn't feel HB. We've said that far too many times throughout his Kings tenure. Those are bad habits, okay? Like, if the only way you can impact the game is scoring, those are bad habits. We've seen a lot of that from HB. As of late, he's been playing very well. Again, we always give credit where credit is due. Just like I'm not a big fan of Lyles. And there were moments in the season this year where he had a very good stretch, and they gave him his props in due time. That's how it works, right? Trey Lyles, coming from the Pistons, and before that, I forget where he came from, but bad habits. Kevin Huerter, he's coming from a team that had success, for sure, Eastern Conference Finals with the Atlanta Hawks, but his role was so different, where he was just stand around and watch Trae Young create for everybody else. Same with Luka, how he does it over there, and James Harden a few years ago with the Houston Rockets. There's going to be moments to where how you play offensively and exert so much energy, you're going to make mistakes defensively as well. Kevin has always made, these types of mistakes because of his athletic limitations, but he's gotten better, right? But I've said this all year long, like, he's not a good defender. I hate to say it, and he ball watches a ton. That's just what he does, and you just got to keep drilling it, man. Like, this is going to take time. Like, Rome wasn't built overnight. You got to keep drilling this. Hey, you got to stop ball watching. You got to, you have to tag your guy, tag the roller, tag the cutter. You have to feel the guy. And you got to box out. Like, you got to box out. It's frustrating because, like, we keep saying this, and it's going to keep on happening. It's going to keep on happening. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. I think we can beat Cleveland, though. I just need to double Mitchell and try to force the ball out of his hand and work hard to deny LeVert on the ball half court. Domas is so consistent that it's easy to take for granted. He's consistent, yes. He wasn't, though, right, in the beginning of the year, which is why they went like 1-4. But ever since that, he has really elevated his game, and he's picked it up, and he's picked up that slack. I guess we can call Fox inconsistent in the sense that he didn't have a good game today again. But during the 3-game win streak, he didn't have bad games either, though. Like, he just wasn't needed to do a lot. That's just the truth. Like, that's literally the truth. Like, I wouldn't lie to him and be like, oh, he played bad. It's like, they only needed him to score, 14, 13, whatever it was. And before that, before the streak started, it was... Who was it? I forget who it was. Oh, the Suns. That's a game where Booker took over and they were out-rebounded, outclassed by 11 that game. They were out-rebounded by 10 tonight. And it's not that they don't match up well with the Suns. I think that's a good matchup for them. But sometimes your guards are just ball watching, bro, and it's so infuriating because you got to put a body. Like, Sabonis isn't the biggest dude. Like, you got to collectively just rebound. And they know that. But, again, habits are built over time. Winning habits are built over time. And it's going to happen, hopefully sooner rather than later. But as of right now, that's just what this team is, right? And, me posting the whole DeRozan for HB kind of replacement is a pipe dream in a way. But what concerns me the most, if I'm being completely honest, and, I've been working on this DeRozan video all day today. Got my script ready, been pulling up stats, been pulling up film to try and illustrate, because one thing is to tell you, and this is going to go through one ear and go through another. That's typically how it goes. But this notion of you wouldn't make that deal because you're afraid of messing up the chemistry, and I'm thinking to myself, like, just because they've played well, we shouldn't act like this chemistry is the best team in the league type of chemistry. Like, I get it, you're afraid to mess up anything, but at the same time, if you're able to upgrade a position of need on a longer deal, which is a 2-year deal and not an expiring deal, and it's going to give you flexibility to some extent, why the hell wouldn't you do it? Especially when it's going to come down to whether or not Mike Brown can continue to preach whatever he's preaching because it's working. So you're telling me that you're afraid that if they make a move, that you don't trust Mike Brown to, convince DeRozan to buy in? That's where I get confused. Not that, the proposed deal is not a dream pipe, because it is. Like, they're not going to accept that type of a deal unless you add more assets to the deal. But this idea of DeRozan not being able to replace HB it's laughable to me. It truly is. Like, what are we saying? You're afraid because of what? And then they try to bring up the Shump situation, which was ridiculous to me. That's what that's saying to me. And again, this video gonna be fire, and I'm gonna prove that just because he doesn't shoot the three ball well, doesn't mean he can't be exceptionally great with the Kings. Like, I truly believe this system, right? The split cut action, lots of flex, in their offense would help DeRozan tremendously. Like how he operates in the mid range, his ability to pass, which he's an underrated passer, and to draw fouls at a high rate among the league's best is a skill that you need when De'Aaron Fox, when Sabonis doesn't play well and can't score as they usually do. You now have a third guy that you know. And again, HB had a great game today. I love HB. I love me some HB. But you got to get rid of a guy like that in order to upgrade that position. And sometimes a perceived notion of, oh, a guy can't shoot the three confuses a fan and be like, oh, well, it wouldn't work. But once I illustrate to you on this video that we're making, it's going to show you how effective DeRozan would be on the Kings. But again, it's more of an exercise to just break perceptions or narratives, because I see it too many times where, oh, a guy can't shoot or a guy can't score. It's like, bro, there's more to it than that when it comes to basketball. How can you impact the game in different ways? That's truly what it comes down to. Don't be afraid of breaking up the chemistry. Like, bro, we're 24 games in, 23 games, I don't know how many games. They're not the number one seed. They're not the best team in basketball. You still got to improve what you have because it's not enough. Why wouldn't you upgrade that position? On a guy that's expiring, it just boggles my mind. It hurts my brain when I see fans and negligence to improving this roster if the opportunity would present itself. Again, the deal wouldn't happen just because it's not enough. But I literally asked, and too many fans are like, no, I'm afraid of the chemistry issues. I'm just like, or the other narrative, oh, it's gonna take the ball away from De'Aaron Fox. I'm kind of thinking like, you act like the Kings are a Luka, Trae Young type of offense. They don't play that way. They don't, like, De'Aaron Fox doesn't pound the ball the way Luka and Trae do, or James Harden with the Rockets. Like, that's not the offense the Kings run. You're not gonna change your offense if you get DeRozan. You're just gonna plug him in, and he's either gonna work or not work. And I don't see why he wouldn't work in this hypothetical world we're talking about. And again, when the Kings lose, we kind of have to talk about hypotheticals because we're trying to improve the team from a content perspective and like having like this dialogue and this conversations with everybody else. Like, that's the whole point of sparking conversations, right? But we'll get to that video soon, man. We'll get to that video soon. I personally don't care how a dude gets buckets as long as he gets them. And again, when they say he can't shoot, I'm like, bro, he's a 52% shooter. For a guy that can't shoot to shoot 52%, that's crazy to me. Like, stop. I think the Kings are at their best when they are attacking the paint, and DeRozan is just another dude who can get the foot into the paint. That's literally what the video is about, bro. Like, how he attacks the rim, puts pressure on the rim, and then he can kick out and find somebody. Like, that's an actual consistent player. Unlike HB, again, HB's having a good run right now. But you feel it when I say it's gonna happen again, where he's gonna put up 9 points and not, you're gonna be like, why didn't I feel HB today? Like, where was HB today? We've said that too many times about him. You will not say that about DeMar DeRozan. And that's the difference. And that's where you try to upgrade this team, because at the end of the day, contractually speaking, it's not a risk at all. It's a 2-year deal that at the end of the day, if Malik Monk will continue to play this way, guess what? You're going to have to pay him. Kevin Huerter, same way. Like, he's not going to stay on this $14 to $16 million deal, and Monk's not going to stay on that $8-9 million deal either. So that money will come off the books, theoretically, and then you're going to have options to bring back guys. Again, you can't keep everybody. So when you look at a deal like that, it makes too much sense not to upgrade the position. And yes, he's a much better post player. Much better post. There's things he does in the post with that type of footwork. You're just like, damn. Like that is crazy. And actually, he did it against the Kings. So I'm going to bring that one up too. I'm going to illustrate that shot. Drew Holiday put Fox in his place tonight. I don't know what you're trying to say by that in this place. I think Drew Holiday is an exceptional player. I said that earlier in the game. I said that earlier in the show. Like, he's phenomenal. He's the most underappreciated player in basketball. Like, he's better than Kyrie. He's better than a lot of guys. Obviously, playing in Milwaukee in a smaller market, which is kind of crazy because they're so good. So I don't even think that should be an issue. But to some degree, it is, because he's still so underappreciated, and the guy just knows how to play the game so well. He does everything so well. 31 points tonight, just so well, so effective. But if you're trying to minimize Fox, like, yeah, like, Drew's a better player right now, for sure. I mean, he's a champion. Like, I'm not gonna be here like, oh, De'Aaron Fox is a better player. It's like, no, Drew Holiday's a better player. I get it. I understand that. But to say, oh, he put him in this place, like, what are you trying to say by that? No. Let's take a look. Let me see if they posted anything else. See, somebody else spoke. Okay, so Domas spoke today as well. Let me see. Let's see.
You're talking about just the physicality and size that those guys have, and he didn't feel like you guys did enough to match that. Is it? I mean, it's easier said than done, probably, right?
Yeah.
That's tough to you to match physicality.
Yeah, I just felt like from the jump, there wasn't much energy in the building, and both teams, were kind of going through the motions. So it was really an opportunity for us, to play our game, be physical, and try and steal one here.
Did you feel good about the way you guys were playing at any point in the game, or did it just?
In the beginning?
No, I definitely feel. I feel like we did a lot of good things. Missed some shots. In the fourth quarter where it mattered. Some defensive assignments weren't. We couldn't get them done at the end. On some double teams with Giannis and stuff, and then. There was a couple of big offensive rebounds at the end there where I had to rotate because we're doubling Giannis, and that's where I feel like we could have been more physical.
How about him? What kind of a matchup? I know you know him well and have played against him many times. To have that kind of size and speed and athletic ability, what's he like to go?
Yeah, of course, especially in transition, he attracts double teams, he has shooters all around him. So it's a 5-man defense. It's not just one guy, we got to help the guy guarding him, and then we all got to spray out and take away shooters.
Which is extremely hard to do.
De'Aaron, this is like 6-7 games now where the shots just haven't really fallen for him at the same rate. What do you see him going through right now?
Nothing. He's taking good shots. They're open shots. They're rhythm shots. They're his shots that he's been taking. We just gotta keep getting him good looks. He's putting in the work after practice. Getting more shots and stuff. And I'm positive next game he'll shoot well.
Last game 4 shots, I think tonight 11. What do you see during the game that lends you to think, well, this night I might have to be more of a facilitator, or tonight I got to score also to help this team? What happens throughout a game?
I'm just basically reading the defense, reading the game. Sometimes there is no room. Like last game, there I feel like in Chicago there wasn't a lot of room for me to play one-on-one. They were helping in the paint. Today with Brook Lopez playing far down, our shooters weren't making many shots there in the fourth quarter. I felt like I had to be more aggressive. That's usually how I play. I feel like I have to find areas where I can do that more to help my team. But at the same time, we were down, and if I can get my shooters open, he's so down, if I drop the ball off, set a screen, these are wide open shots for our shooters, and we just couldn't knock him down tonight.
Going back to Giannis for a second, since you've been playing against him for a number of years now, I'm curious, what do you see as like the biggest change or improvement from early in his career to where he is now?
He's reading the game. He's reading the game. He's his IQ is on a different level for sure, and he's making the right reads when teams are doubling. He's kind of figured it out, and this team has been together for so many years now. They all know how to play well with each other.
You're a big man who reads the game and passes like that too. Like, how is it just reps and reps to like sort of figure that out? Like, how long does that really take?
It's kind of chemistry with each player. I kind of know what each player kind of does, what they like to do. So you just got to adapt to each one. Like I know some players might not backdoor, some players are gonna look to shoot regardless. So you just got to set them up for success.
And there it is. Domantas Sabonis. I just mean tonight they can get DeRozan, if they can be the pick Atlanta and just over leverage on Herder. It would have to be like a late pick regardless, though, right? Like a 2026 because of the rule of no back-to-back or all these silly rules, man. But yeah, it's the Warriors are up. See what I'm saying? Like, the Warriors are going to figure it out, and that's going to be another team that they're going to have to worry about. When I say the Jazz, was supposed to win this game, that's one of them. That's one of those ones where I'm just like, damn. Like, it looks like they're going to win the game. But that's going to do it, y'all. I don't know if the highlights are up yet, but I'm trying to finish this DeMar DeRozan video. I'll have it hopefully by tomorrow. And yeah, the Cavs are next. It's not going to be easy, right? They play the Cavs when? Friday? They play the Cavs on Friday. Play the Cavs on Friday. Charlie says, having the Guardian at the top of the circle one-on-one with the Bucks spread out 5 is unfair. Put a ton of pressure on the help defenders and rotations. 100%, bro. That's just the way it is. Like, the Bucks are for real, bro. Bucks Celtics. What's great about that is that the Bucks Celtics are gonna have to eliminate each other, so they're both in the same conference. Like that's the good part about having two, elite teams. The two best teams, without question. Like the two best teams. It's Celtics, Bucks, and then it's everybody else. Like, so who's coming out of the West, right? That's why you got to make moves like this to put yourself in that type of situation, because this is a year where there isn't a dominant team in the West. So those are my 2 cents. I appreciate you guys as always. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe on content like this. Shout out to Medici Sacramento. Again, after the Adam Sandler comedy show, you guys should definitely check out Medici Sacramento across the Golden One Center. That's going to do it, y'all. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.